Hi, this is Alexandra Bernard-Simmons, and you're watching Think Like a Boss TV, where we bring entrepreneurs to you to talk about the business world and what is going on right now for entrepreneurs and small businesses. So I have three beautiful guests with me today. First up is Miss Takeisha Jack.
Hello.
Tell us a little bit about yourself, Takeisha.
My name is Takeisha Jack, and I am the owner of heavenlyseduction.com. It is an online lingerie boutique, and we cater to women of all sizes and shapes because we believe that sexy comes in all sizes.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does, honey. Okay. Our next guest is Miss Davonna May.
Darling, hello. How are you?
How are you, darling?
Very good. Thank you for having me.
Of course. Thanks for coming.
Yes.
And tell us a little bit about your business and what you do.
Yes, my name is Davonna May. I'm the owner of Belladonna Prima Donna Accessory House, where luxury meets affordability and every day is extraordinary. I provide accessories for power women. We believe that every woman deserves a piece of luxury because that helps to ignite that inner spark, that inner power, and it propels her into her personal greatness. So that's what we're about, girl power underneath all of it.
That's beautiful. And she's
Love
fancy.
it.
And she's
Fancy. Yes.
And last but not least, Miss Natasha White.
Hi.
Hey,
Thank you for having me.
Of
Hey, girl.
course.
So I am the owner of Lifestyle Motives. It is a nutrition-based business, nutrition counseling, assessment, and a various bunch of other services that are not so traditional. So like grocery shopping trips, kitchen cleanups, meal prep, meal planning, detox plans. I run the gamut.
That's amazing because right now I feel like America, we definitely need health and wellness nowadays, right? We're still the most overweight country in the world.
Period.
Okay, so we need to fix that, especially as women. I feel like we need to take more, better care of ourselves because
Absolutely.
we're always taking care of everyone else and we leave ourselves last, right? So that's
Absolutely.
actually some of the things we're going to be talking about today. Just being a female entrepreneur. What are some of the issues that you guys find with that in your field?
Yeah.
For me, I find that it's difficult to find funding sometimes. Oftentimes it's hard to find support, to find people that believe in your passion and your dream as much as you do. People that they say that they're proud and they encourage you, but underneath sometimes there's not any real support.
Right.
So sometimes I find that to be a little difficult.
Okay. And what do you guys think about that?
I think to piggyback off of what she said, there is a lack of support, but the hardest part for me has been getting to that place where I believe in myself. Because once you believe in yourself and you get that momentum, there's really no stopping you. But all of those obstacles that come from the lack of money, the lack of support, resources, mentorship, knowledge even, especially if you're starting ground up with no prior training or understanding of what it's like to be an entrepreneur, those are some heavy obstacles for a person who has a vision and a dream and a dollar and a dream, right? So I think that that self-confidence and that self-value is a big hurdle that you have to get through.
Absolutely. And then for me, the biggest battle has been being in this field, period, as a Black woman. The statistics are bizarre for the number of Black women that are nutritionists and registered dietitians in New Jersey, much less across the country. So I find it's tough to break into private consulting for nutrition, but even just being in the field is tough. You have people who look at you kind of like, well, you're the minority. You're supposed to be the demographic that doesn't care about what you eat.
Right.
The people look at African Americans, or for me in my situation, it's a Caribbean American, and they look at, oh girl, you're supposed to be eating curry chicken and ham hocks and collard greens. And I'm looking at them like, yeah, I mean, once in a blue, but overall I love kale and Swiss chard and chickpea burgers, and people look at you like, well, oh, now you bougie.
Right.
But it's not that. It really is, I just want to reach a certain level of my own life, and then that's what I aim to do, is to help people realize you need to be a driven you. Just be who you are and the best you. But it is very hard to find people, as you said, who support your dream, who really believe in what you're saying. It's tough.
No, that's a great point to even bring up, especially as a Caribbean woman, right? The food that we like to eat is gonna kill us.
Girl, every day, rice
And
every
me
meal. Rice every meal.
No, but one thing I always think about being a female entrepreneur is family. Raising a child and being a spouse to a husband, right? Sometimes the work-life balance is really difficult because as an entrepreneur, you have to be working almost 24/7, honey.
Literally.
And the fact that as a mother and as a wife, you're also supposed to be kind of running that household and making sure everything is in order. I feel like some women have a hard time with switching roles.
Yeah.
They have a really hard time doing that. So I know Think Like a Boss, that's something that we help women actually cope with and deal with, that you can have both. You don't have to stay in this box, because I feel like we're always trying to people are always trying to put us in a box. Look at our president, for goodness sakes, right? We can't even have a woman president just because she's a woman.
Right.
It didn't make any sense, even though she was more qualified.
Right.
They always see women as the ones staying home and taking care of everything, and we can't really have that entrepreneur spirit. But guess who are the leading demographic of entrepreneurs?
Women.
Absolutely.
Black
women.
Along
Women.
with most educated.
along with the most educated girl by. Okay?
Yes.
We're doing big
Yes.
things out
we
here,
are.
and we are not taking like no for an answer anymore, and I love it. But the fact is, there's still women out there that are afraid to take that risk because they feel like it's selfish.
Yeah,
It's selfish to follow your dreams, and
So
that's
important.
inaccurate. That's inaccurate. So that's why I have you guys here to share your stories, and we're going to again talk more about that, but to make sure we can reach someone out there and motivate them to start following their passion.
Absolutely.
But now, going back on the whole support thing, I know that's an issue. But I always say, no one supports your movement until it's moving.
Right.
So you literally have to be your own boss, employee, your own web person, your own marketer,
Yes.
your own everything for at least a year or two before they start to follow you.
Yeah.
Okay? So just going back to the question that I wanted to ask, how important is it for support in the for black businesses? What do you guys think about that?
I feel that it's important for us to support one another because we're spending money in communities and it's not coming back to us. And the only way that we can build each other is to support our own businesses. So that way when one business blossoms, then that person can go and help another business blossom. And then that way we can keep our dollars within our community and help build each other up. Like other races.
Girl, you took it right out my mouth. I was waiting for her to finish.
There are other
very
races
true.
that are very successful because they support one another and they're not trying to drag each other down. There's no competition. When one person succeeds, they feel that they're successful as well. So that's why I feel it's important.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Coming from that, like you said, with the other races, there are so many that, again, having a Caribbean background, a lot of my family has come from Jamaica, both sides. And even though I find it's a little more far-fetched in America, that whole, a mom being separated from her child, or, sending this person over to America to work and send money back, it makes sense. And if we did the same thing here within our own demographic, we would be way more successful. There's nothing wrong with co-owning a store, or everybody pooling their money together to open something, to have a business, to do this, to do that. My own personal belief is I will try my best to go to a BOB or black-owned business first. If I can find one that does what I need it to do, fine, I'll go there first. But it is tough to even start up because there's so many people who don't believe in you. I know we spoke about this prior, but like blocking blessings, that is a real thing. You can't stop what's for you just because someone else is successful. And I think once we let go of that mentality that everyone is there's only one chunk of the pie being boxed in, there's only one piece of the pie that we can get. No, we are open to the entire thing, the backup dancers, the treats over here. We can have whatever we want. As soon as we let go of that, it's all for me. It's all for me. But when you help others, you're really helping an entire race, an entire breed of people. Most of the world is brown. No matter what shade. Most of the world is brown.
Or they want to be.
Or they're at the tanning salon. Trying to be. So there's nothing wrong with us wanting more than just the piece that we're told that we're given. There's nothing wrong with that. And the more we influence and bring in our own dollars, the further we'll speed that process along.
I agree wholeheartedly. But to backtrack a little bit, you were bringing up your background and being from Jamaica, your family being from Jamaica. One thing that I feel that the black community is missing is examples
Facts.
of entrepreneurship.
Yes.
I don't think that they even see it as an option. So you are bringing up your family. We are Haitian, my family, Haitian Americans and Haitian and Dominican. If I'm not a nurse, I ain't make it. Like that's just the way that they see it.
And the CNA is maybe making
And the CNA is
You might have
maybe you made it, maybe.
Maybe.
Like I remember when I was working in technology, I had to explain to my mom several times what I did, right? Right. And she's like, you know, you could have just been a nurse, right? I'm like, but I don't want to be a nurse. That's not what I want to do. And when I told her I was gonna just completely leave a 6-figure industry and start my own business, she was like, okay. She knew I can do it. That's not what it was. But it was just like, why?
Right.
Like, why? And but of course my mom right now is one of my number one supporters, but it's just, what do you think about the background of the Black families and the vision of entrepreneurship?
I actually have a very similar story to that. And my mother, I went to law school and I graduated law school. They all
Wait, stop.
I know.
Congratulations.
We're not going to breeze past
Because if it was easy, everybody would do it.
Okay. It wasn't. But it was in my last year of law school that I realized who I was, because all that time I had been on autopilot. My mom and dad said, be a lawyer or a doctor. You're smart enough to do it. So I was guided, straight out of undergrad right into law school. So I didn't really have a lot of time to think for myself. My last year of law school, this vision was given to me. It was a vision, honestly. It was God speaking and saying, this is what I created you to do. So I started to get into that, right? So imagine I graduate law school, my mother paid all this money for me to attend, and then I get home that summer and I'm like, Mom, I want to sell jewelry. And when I say that was the biggest war I fought in my life, and only until now, she just now, like you said, when you start to become successful, people start to catch on, right? It took up to 7 years, just about 7 years before my mother actually started to believe in that. They had no understanding of entrepreneurship or business ownership. My mother even told me, you need to work at Starbucks or something, because that's all they needed, a stable job. They needed something that they could believe and see. But this vision that I was talking about, this dream, she thought it was insane. But I've seen how that, when you stay true to who you are in your journey, man, that it changed her. And she forgot that she's an entrepreneur, that I got it from her. Okay? Like the craftiness, the brilliance of her mind and her business savviness. I mean, she's an entrepreneur, but she forgot that, living the life, having to take care of 4 kids, but thank God I didn't. And I was courageous. And again, I faltered so many times. I was inconsistent throughout those 7 years, because I was trying to do what my mom said, and then I got engaged and I was trying to be the perfect wife and the support system, for my fiance, and it just fell all by the wayside. It haunted me, that vision. It wouldn't stop pursuing me. So when I gave into it, the way it came to me was like, you've got to have a selfish period. And this selfish period is where you say, this is who I am and this is what I'm going to do, regardless of what you say or think. And when I develop this, you'll understand why. But it takes so much courage to do that.
Yeah, it does.
And again, that war that I fought, it was worth it. It was worth it, but you got to stick in there. Yeah. You got to.
So there's something that you said that I just want to pull out. One of my favorite sayings, and it's actually in my book, Think Like a Boss. God does not deny authenticity. So once you're authentic to yourself, all the doors start to open, because you're now walking in the path that God already made for you. You finally found it because you accepted who you are. And started to, actually recall what your dreams are, because sometimes we let them go. Like we could have dreams. I always knew I wanted to be a dancer as a kid. I always knew that. Michael Jackson did this. I'm gonna do that. Boom. Like that's what it was. But my mom didn't have money for dance school, so I never took a dance class in my life, but still ended up being a professional dancer, touring the world.
Wow.
And it's just that you just have to stay authentic to what you really love. And I feel like people forget that along the way. You have responsibilities. You have your parents telling you what you should do. It's funny that you mentioned your mom was an entrepreneur. She knows what the passion is, but she probably didn't want you to struggle. Right? Because that struggle,
that's the mommy thing. And it is real.
That struggle for entrepreneurs, guys, I mean, up all the time. Sometimes your business is up and sometimes it's down.
Yes.
And when it's down, it is down.
Yes.
Usually.
Like, am I going to eat this month?
I'm kind of hungry.
Yeah, I'm
Definitely
Am I
can
going to eat oodles and noodles?
Let me eat this air sandwich and do this. Like for me, it's like, let me put this air sandwich next to my computer and work on this meal plan. Like
Coffee
it really is.
kills the appetite. Just
green
saying.
tea all day.
Yes, yes. So that's something that we just have to think about, and we just want to make sure, because we're a new generation.
Yeah.
We're a new generation now, and we are now the examples for the girls and the boys that are coming up. And I think representation is what's important. That's why Obama and Michelle being in the office
Right.
Yes.
was so important.
It really was
We needed
important.
it.
Because we really needed that, because now success looks different. It doesn't look like, Waka Flocka Flame.
More
Like,
attainable, right.
it looks
Absolutely.
like the president of the United
Yes.
States,
Absolutely.
not just athletes and rappers
That's
and things
good.
like that. And I feel like the way we can change the ideology of the Black community is being the change we want to see.
Yes.
Absolutely.
So each one teach one. I started the Think Like a Boss program in Brooklyn. We have one in Queens. Now the one in Queens is different because I'm going to be bringing different entrepreneurs with me every week to show the children, look, you might have this hobby of health and wellness, because I know some people that grew up and not eating meat, and they're just so aware of healthy options.
Right.
This could be an option for you. Someone that's into fashion, right? You guys could come in and talk about that. Like, we have to bring it back to the community in order for their minds to change.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Right? So, now what mistakes have you guys made in your business? I don't even need you to do this.
No, because here she go talking to my life again. The inconsistency, especially in the beginning, because for me, I don't know about everybody else, but for me, entrepreneurship started off as like a hobby. Like, it was like something that I liked to do.
Yeah.
I went to school for nutrition and food science and I loved it, but I was so like, I want to work for another nutritionist. I want to work in a medical group. I want to do this. And I was like, I don't want to be in a hospital. I knew what I didn't want.
Right.
And I was just like, I had one of those light bulb moments.
Right.
And I was at my job at the time and realized I'm working 70 hours a week with no overtime.
No overtime.
On a salary that was decent, not what I wanted it to be. Taking care of others and not feeling satisfied.
Right.
And I love to care for people. Every job I've ever had, which again was one of those revelations I had to have God take the scales off my eyes. Like, girl, you've been doing this.
Right.
I've been babysitting. I've been working in daycares. I've been, taking care of other people, adults with disabilities, always have done it. And I said, it's just not enough anymore. It's not doing what I love.
Yeah.
I love doing anything nutrition related. I love teaching. So I figured, why not? Like, it was just one of those, why not?
Right.
And I had but you got a job.
Right. Isn't that the hardest part?
Yes.
Yeah.
Girl, why you don't fill out this application? Oh, I love the emails. I found this job you might like. Baby girl, I did too. I saw it last week on Indeed, but I'm not interested. Like, my business has become my baby. Like, it's like something you birth and you love, and I love to tell people about it, to teach people. I tell people all the time, if all you need me to do is make your grocery list, I'm happy.
Right.
Because that's something you couldn't do on your own that I've
Yeah.
now helped
Right.
you to do.
Amazing.
Right.
Finding your purpose, whether it's helping someone, whether it's helping someone feel good about themselves through their lingerie, helping a woman feel glamorous for a date. Girl, if I have on a sweatsuit and a cute pair of earrings, I'm lit.
Right.
You can't tell me nothing. I'm it.
Right.
But if you don't understand what that passion is, what that spark is, and again, inconsistency, because I wasn't sure what it was. It took me a while to realize you just love helping people, and that's okay.
Yeah.
Right. That's
But
purpose.
to feel it's okay
Yeah.
was the hard part, because you have these goals and you should be a doctor, you should be a lawyer. Like you, I knew I was going to be a chef. You
Yeah.
couldn't tell me anything. Like,
Yeah.
taking 3 periods of home ec in high school, I just knew. Child, then I got a food allergy. I felt like God said, oh, this wasn't your only plan. Now I have an adult food. I didn't get food allergies till I was a full-grown adult.
Wow.
Never had them. So I said, all right, I'm a deviate. I see you. I'm a move. And then I started doing nutrition and fell in love with it.
Yeah.
And you get judged. I mean, I get judged. People see me and they're like, oh, you're not a size 2. That's fine. But I'm 75 pounds lighter than I was. And I did it the old-fashioned way.
Right.
So everyone is at a different space in their journey. And being an entrepreneur, sometimes you feel very exposed.
Yeah.
that journey is very in your face.
Yes.
And sometimes you get told about yourself and people don't even mean to, but you have to look for the positive in all of it. And entrepreneurship is tricky in that way. You have to have a certain level of courage, of strength. And for me, it's been faith. If I don't have that faith that, you know what, 10 people said you couldn't do it, but God whispers you can still do it.
Right.
So I'm going to get up and do it.
And that's what
regardless.
we need sometimes. That message right from God.
Yeah.
That connection right
You
there.
just need that right here.
Yeah. And wow, inconsistency. That was a good one. That was a good one. So if you guys are listening, well, watching. I'm so used to the radio. Listening out there.
Watching.
We're on TV now. So if you guys are watching out there, inconsistency could kill your business.
Definitely.
Completely kill your business dead. Because you need discipline in order to get to each level.
Yes.
Okay, so that was a good example. Thank you for sharing.
Of course. Thank you.
Anyone else?
Yeah,
Mistakes?
there was so every mistake, I think, but you know, if I can narrow it down, is just to first of all trust your intuition. You've got to trust it. That's your faith. That's the God speaking to you, directing you, trusting your path. You've got to do that. So that's going to help you to determine which opportunities are for you and which ones to stay away from, which people to go with and which ones to avoid. But then there's another side of that is being practical. And in that, I've made so many mistakes because, listen, I've done everything wrong. So if I could just advise is just to make sure you're getting mentorship, that you're seeking people in the legal field. You need accountants in this business. You need people to help you stay accountable.
Yes.
And whatever your industry is, seek someone who's doing it and ask them. Don't be afraid to ask for what you need, because you definitely need practical guidance in this business, along with the intuition that you're going to need to power through and make the moves you need to make. So
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I know one thing, success is different for a lot of people. Success is to some people is money, being a household name, things like that, frivolous things, materialistic things.
Right.
Success to me, though, is how many people I helped on the way.
That's right.
How many people did I pull up with me? Who did I go back for? And for me, I feel like I already made it. Because not only did I start my own dance company from never taking dance classes a day in my life, then started a whole movement with beautiful women like you who actually believe in me and are following me. And now I can just give it back.
Yeah.
Give it all back, because it doesn't belong to me.
Yes.
It does not belong to me. And so I feel like I'm walking my purpose every day that I wake up, and that is success to me. That's success to me.
Yes.
So what does success look like to you? Just really quickly.
To me, success is what you said. I will feel like I'm successful once I'm able to help someone else fulfill their dreams. Because like I said, it's important for us as a community to help one another. So if I'm able, once I become more established, I will be able to help someone else fulfill their dream and start their business and keep moving forward in that direction. Maybe becoming an investor to help other businesses, because I know that we kind of lack a lot of female investors.
Yes.
Agreed.
So it's dominated by males.
Yes.
So just being able to just help other people become successful.
Absolutely.
Which will mean success to me.
Perfect.
Pulling out the gifts in other people, letting them live vicariously through me. Like, I just get up and I go and I try it. And people are like, well, I can try it too. She did it, shoot, I can do it too. So giving them that energy or that example that, yeah, you can do it if you just try, if you just believe.
Yep.
And we mentioned earlier just empowering. It's a momentum that picks up, but just empowering people to just be their best and do their best and live their highest purpose. When you give, even if you could give it from a place of lack, even if you don't have the money, you can, that's been my biggest blessing, was just giving when I didn't really have it, whether it be a free piece of jewelry or a compliment. Give and you'll receive so much more.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, thank you so much for coming today. This was the
you.
first Think Like a Boss show, and you guys made it perfect. So thank you so much
Thank you
for
for
coming.
having us.
We
Thank
appreciate
Everyone
it.
else, catch us on the next show. It's going to get bigger and better from here.
Yes.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you,
Thank
ladies.
you.
Thank you.